I'm Ranger Erin, and today we are talking about what makes up weather. And our weather has four components to it. It has four parts. The first one is going to be heat. The second one is going to be air pressure. The third, wind, and then the last one is water. So those four components make up all types of weather that we have here on Earth. So let's start with that heat. Now we know that we get our heat on Earth, all over the Earth, from the sun. But the sun doesn't heat up the Earth exactly the same all over. So around the middle, that equator gets a lot more sunshine because it gets that direct sunshine almost all year round. And then the North and the South Pole don't get as much sunshine, so they don't get as much heat. And then on top of that, our Earth is tilted on an axis, which means that sometimes we have winter and sometimes we have summer in those northern and southern hemispheres. So there's more heat and less heat in different places in the world. They're all heated up just a little bit differently. On top of that, some lands are darker than others. And if you've ever heard the wisdom of wearing a white or light shirt in the summer, that's because those lighter colors reflect heat. And if you were to wear a black or a dark blue or a dark brown shirt, it's going to absorb more heat. You're going to get really hot in the summer rather than if you wore a light colored clothing. And that same is true for land. So now we have the Earth heated up differently in different areas. Now hot air is going to have less air pressure. Cold air is going to have more air pressure. And what is that air pressure? That air pressure is just the weight of all of the air on top of you, all the way from the atmosphere down to the ground. So it's the weight of that air. And that hot air has less weight. That cold air has more weight. The world is heated differently in different places, and now we know it has different air pressure in different places. So in some places it's going to have high pressure, in other places it's going to have low pressure. And if you've got an area that has high pressure that's next to an area that has low pressure, that air that's in the high pressure that's being driven down more weight is going to be pushed towards that area that has low pressure. So let's think about a balloon. I've got air inside this balloon, and this balloon inside is high pressure, and it's next to an area that has lower pressure. Outside of the balloon is lower pressure than it is higher pressure. So I'm pressing on it, it's very firm. Now if I were to open this up, that high pressure area, all of that air inside is going to get pushed out just like that. And that's how we get wind. So those high pressure areas next to those low pressure areas make wind. We started off with heat. Different heat in different places makes different air pressure in different places, makes wind. So that's three of our components to weather. And then the last one is probably the one that you thought of first, which is water. And if I were to ask you, tell me some types of weather here on Earth, you would probably name a whole lot of them that include water. So we're talking rain, sleet, snow, hail, ice, and all different kinds of stuff, hurricanes. These all include water that are going to be affected by that heat, that air pressure, and then that wind. So all of them together are going to make up all the different types of weather we have on Earth.
For an indoor activity, we're going to be making a barometer. All you need is a balloon, which you're going to cut the bottom off and stretch it tight over a strong cup, and then add a rubber band around that to hold it in place, and then some type of stick like a toothpick or a dowel rod that you can glue across the top there. And it's going to be able to measure that air pressure, because remember, air pressure has a relationship to temperature. So when things get hot, they're going to expand, and when things get cold, they're going to contract, and we're going to be able to see that because we're trapping some air inside our barometer. Now I've already gotten started with my pink one. I put it in some ice, and you can already see that that air got so cold that it got smaller, and it's pulling this down, and it's already dimpled in. My dowel rod is pointing up a little bit because it got pulled in so much. And we're going to do the same thing a little bit differently. We're going to heat up this other one. So I've got a hair dryer, and we're just going to heat that up and see how it expands. All right, take a look at that. It's really tight on the top. All of that air really expanded next to that cold air, which dimpled in. Very different, so that temperature definitely affects that air pressure.
On your weather hike, I want you to check the forecast before you go. So you're gonna get either on a phone app or online, check the weather, see what it's gonna be, and then once you get outside on your hike, does that temperature feel like what you expected? And then ask yourself, why might it feel a little bit different? You're gonna look for signs of weather, maybe some clouds in the sky, maybe some wind blowing, some tree limbs around. Maybe there's gonna be some spots of leftover snow or mud puddles where that snow has melted. Maybe you're gonna find a warm spot in the sun. So just experiencing that weather as you're walking outside. Thanks for joining me. I'll catch you all next time.